Alright, now if you've tuned in on this, it's probably because you own a Savage Model 24 or you're thinking about buying one. Now this gun, I reckon if you could only own one gun and you had some land or you're a farmer, this would be the gun to have. Now, this is a Model 24S. It was made in around early 80s. I got this gun from a mate of mine. He's dead now, but I swapped it probably about 15 years ago for a 22, and he didn't like it because you couldn't put a scope on it and use a shotgun at the same time. Now I'll just go through a few of the advantages and disadvantages of having the Model 24. This one's chambered in 22 Magnum and 20 gauge, which is probably ideal for most situations here in Australia. They did come out in several other variations. There was one, a 357 and a 20 gauge, and I think a 30-30 and a 12 gauge, but I've never seen one of those here in Australia. The most common ones are the 22-410, and this design of gun is actually quite old. It was actually first designed by Stevens in 1938 as a survival gun for American Air Force crew. So it's quite versatile. This one, I'll show you one of the advantages. It takes down very quickly. So you can put it in a bag and put it back together very quickly. What else can I say? Now, I used to use this rifle a lot for whistling foxes. It was ideal for that, because anyone that whistles foxes knows that a lot of times the foxes will hang out about 100 yards and they won't come into shotgun range. And so I'd hit them with a Magnum. Now, a few years ago I mounted this Burris Fastfire 2 red dot scope on it, and that makes it great to use. It's a gun guide mount with a Picatinny rail on the top, and it actually mounts quite good, so you can fire the shotgun with that, no problems at all. Firing solid slugs out of this thing, it shoots a little bit lower than the rifle, probably about 6 inches at 40 yards, but it's dead in line, so that's quite good. Now, some of the other advantages of it, what can I say? It's the recoil's quite light with 20 gauge, so for a girl or a kid to use, it's quite nice. Disadvantages though with 20 gauge in Australia anyway is availability of ammunition. Most times you can pick up number 4 or number 6 shot, and that's about it. Occasionally you'll come across a box of slugs. If you see those, grab them because they're quite rare. And these are quite dynamite on goats and pigs and stuff. I've shot scrub bull with it, and heaps of pigs. So it'll down pretty much anything in Australia. The 22 Magnum is quite a versatile round. If you're not reloading and that, it'll great for putting down injured stock and things like that. So for the farmer, it's probably the most practical gun you could get. You know, some might argue, oh, you know, 243 would be better, but you know, this can handle rabbits, foxes, kangaroos, whatever you need. And if you only could have one gun, this would be it. Now, there are some disadvantages with this gun. This particular model, it's got the plastic trigger guard. I don't quite like that. If you were to drop it, it'd probably crack. But it's held up so far, so good. Like I said, mounting a scope was quite difficult. If you put a telescopic sight on this, it just slides off when you fire it, and when you're slamming it shut too, it's not real good for the Holden Zero. And what else can I say? The price. Okay, these are discontinued now, so they're fetching high prices in the US. I've seen them advertised up to $1,000 for a good one. What else can I say? Now this is quite interesting because this happened to me last night. I don't take this gun out a lot. I hadn't used it for about 18 months, but if it was the only gun you had, probably wouldn't be a problem. But this one's got the selector for the top barrel and the bottom barrel. Hang on, I'll come up close. If you look here, that's the bottom barrel and that's the top. So you pull the hammer back, fire. There's no safety on it. This particular model, you pull the lever there and she opens and closes like that. Now what happens, well, I'll show you a short video in a minute, but what happens is you'll be walking along in the dark, you can't see the arrows on here, and you'll see, oh shit, there'll be like a rabbit, so you'll put it on shotgun, and you'll think it's on shotgun, you'll do a snapshot, and it'll be on the Magnum. Or like what happened to a mate of mine, there was a large taipan snake, and he thought he'd blast it with the a load of number 4s out of the 20 gauge, and he lined up on it, and the Magnum went off instead of the 20 gauge, and the snake got away, went between his nephew's legs. Luckily he didn't bite him. But yeah, it's just something you've got to get used to with it. Fucked that up, didn't I? Only a small one. Look at the size of it, tiny. Hit him with I think the older ones, they had a selector on the side here, up, down. It'd be a lot easier to see. So what I'll do now is I'll fire a couple of shots through it. If you look at that target there, that's the accuracy of it. That there was actually 2 shots. They were the first 2 shots, and the scope was out and I sighted it in, moved it over a bit. That's at 50 metres. Look, you can't get top accuracy with these red dot scopes because the red dots covering the whole green bit at 50 metres, including that outer ring. So I thought that was pretty good. So what I'll do is I'll fire a couple of shots through it and show you how she goes. Alright, I'll just put some earplugs in. I'm deaf enough as it is, so the wind's come up quite a bit. But yeah, it's quite a good little gun. Yeah, if you see one in the gun shop, grab it, because they're a nice weapon. This one's case hardened and that. Look, the wood on them, all the ones I've seen, the wood on them is very plain. Like this wood, I did it with True Oil and stained it, and it's still very patchy, but it's quite serviceable. Now, I'll put a couple of shots through it and just show you how she goes. Alright, so I'll do the bottom barrel first, and then the Magnum. So yeah, it's quite quick for a follow-up shot, and yeah, a lot of fun. Alright, so there you go guys, Savage Model 24, great little gun. Bye for now.